everybody, it's me, Kosh Wolf, and in today's video we are going to be doing a review on the Jeffree Star Blood Lust palette, along with his new addition to his Extreme Frost, Choking on Ice. There we go. Alright, so you guys, before we get started, I just want to go through a couple of things before we get into the looks. Basically, with this video, my goal was to use every single color in the palette. And I didn't set up a specific amount of looks I wanted to do. I just wanted to make sure I used every single color in the palette so that I had a better understanding of how every color worked in this palette. Now, I've been buying Jeffree Star products ever since he started this whole really awesome packaging thing. And I've even bought the Conspiracy palette. I have everything after except the Blood Sugar palette, which is so dumb that I don't have that. But everything after that I've bought, including the Thirsty one, which is also another one of my favorites. So when it came to the Shane Dawson one, that one was probably the one I was the absolute most hyped about because of how I ended up getting into YouTube. He was part of why I ended up on YouTube, Shane Dawson was. So I literally lost sleep over this. I would have dreams about running late there, or when I was running to the Morphe store, my legs were so heavy I couldn't make it. It's it was ridiculous. I even woke up one time and I started almost crying because I'm like, Byron, I missed the palette. And Byron's my boyfriend. And he's like, no, Erica, it comes out the next day. And I checked the time and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. But when it came to this one, I saw that he was doing another one and it was a purple theme. And I'm like, ah, yes, I'm just going to buy it. I don't even need you to give me the whole breakdown of what's in it. It's beautiful looking. It's got purples. And I believe your makeup products are amazing. So I don't need the details. So what I ended up doing when I saw Jeffree's launch video is I just fast forwarded it to the date it was going to be released and how much it was going to cost. That's all I needed. And then the highlighters was the other thing I wanted. And he didn't have any lipsticks really, except for the mini bundle, which I was like, I can live without that. My pocket just needs these. And if I'm going to hurt it, then these ones mean the most to me right now. So I didn't get this originally, fast because I needed this. And this was exclusive to his website alone. So I decided not to go down to the Morphe store and pick up the palette and do a review and then wait for this because it's just the highlighter itself and I think that would be boring. But anyways, let's get into packaging and how it looked when it came in the mail. When it came in the mail, it came pretty quick. I'm not doing an unboxing because I'm sure you can find many of those. And the only time I would show you if anything's iffy is if the package I received was destroyed or this was falling out or whatever. Everything was packaged well, had no issues, none of the shadows were broken, and everything's intact, beautiful, and perfect. It's what I expect and what I've always gotten from Jeffree. And when it comes to this highlighter, oh my gosh, this packaging right here. This comes with it. This is a bougie little box that you can get jewelry in. It is so pretty. I love it so much. And it's purple. Thank you, Jeffree, for working me into a hoarder because this is what's going to lead to. I'm going to become a hoarder by the end of all this stuff Jeffree releases because how can you throw this away? How can you throw this packaging away? It's just not a thing that you can just throw away. I'd rather use one up until it's gone and then put another one back in. But anyways, let's move on from here. All right, so you guys know the challenge. Get every color done out of here. And I made a little game plan. I didn't take off the little plastic thing yet because it's just it's just gonna get dusties all over it. But it's so pretty. All right, so let's get into these looks. Now, the look that I have on right now is the 5th look. It took me 5 looks to use every single color in here. And I am going to be doing a couple of little swatches of a couple of colors that I think I did not give the best chance to. And we'll go over those right now. Now, let's begin. With the first look, I went in with Vivid Mood. And I just, use that as basically my transition color, and also to be that extra little pop of color when I put Blood Queen into my crease. Everything seemed to apply really well. Now keep in mind that this palette is called an artistry palette, so I would assume that it means that it's not necessarily for beginners. Now when it came to Vivid Mood, it's one of those colors that you just can't wipe across your eye. You need to like pat it on a little bit and just go and blend it out from there. And then the same thing with Blood Queen. For the best payoff, you do want to pat on first, then blend out before actually, trying to just get up in there and just try to blend it out very lightly already. You need to pat that in. But something I can say, these colors were perfect. They didn't give me a hard time at all. They were very easy to work with. These purples are just amazing. When it comes to Jeffree and his purples, you don't have to worry about any issues with anything. Now, something I wanted to bring up really quick that seemed to be an issue with a lot of people that they were complaining about was with the purples was they didn't feel like there was enough purples. Now, something you need to keep in mind is that these purples, they are like when you put them on, they can start out one shade of purple, but then you can build it up. And then you can blur it out in a way that it becomes a completely different purple. Sometimes I notice that in the pan, it's slightly deceiving than what you're going to be seeing on the eye. And in camera, it doesn't give it justice. Any of the colors that I really put on there, you can see them and they're really pretty, but in person, it is even prettier. And I noticed that while I was actually filming. I'm like, how come on the camera it's not registering the same than like from what I'm seeing in person? And then I try to take some pictures on my phone in order to see a difference, like to see how much of the color is actually there and how much was missing. So off camera, I did a quick cut crease after finessing everything where I wanted it to be, and then I applied Pink Magic. Pink Magic applied it very nicely. I went in with a little flat brush first to get up into the crease to make sure that the lineup was perfect, and then I went in with my finger to get the most payoff from the sparkles, or the sparkly pigment thing, or whatever you want to call it. So that's what I ended up doing. And then I did end up kind of popping in here and there with Your Majesty because it helped kind of blend out my edges a little bit to my brow, giving a bit of a highlight. And then I think even in the inner corner, I went in with Wet Jewel. I think I went in with Wet Jewel and a little bit of Choking on Ice. So just to give it a little bit more light in my inner corner. Now, it came out, oh yes, and I also wanted to toss in there that I did use Dungeon on my lash line a little bit to give it a little bit of a wing look to it, to create more of that shape that I like with my makeup. So for this next look, we are basically going with the same concept here, and it's basically the same concept with cut crease and everything like that, except I use different colors. So for my kind of transition color, I ended up using Deviant, and I used it to work out Scandal Water, which is an interesting name. I use it to work out Scandal Water. Scandal Water, of course, I popped in there and I patted it in first, and then I worked Deviant into it to create a more of a gradient look and also a blur, giving it to where it looks blended. Which, okay, I blended it with Deviant. I don't know why I'm making this sound so complicated. After putting Scandal Water into my crease and working it up with Deviant, I ended up going in with Dungeon and working it on the outer corner of my eye into my crease ever so slightly. And once I blended that to an okay amount, because I know that I was going to be going in and doing a cut crease. So again, off camera, I did my cut crease. It ends up taking me like a second, so why waste time? I just did it off camera. I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to do a cut crease. I do have hooded eyes, so I just pop a little bit on my lid and then open my eyeballs and then close them, and then I create the cut crease from there. And then after that, I did the same thing that I did with I did the same thing that I did with Pink Magic, and I used that flat Morphe brush and I packed it on to the crease up really close to where the little cut is, and then I went in with my ring finger and patted it on so I got the most payoff, and it created this nice little look. And I even went back in with Dungeon. And I put that along my lash line, and then I also kind of worked it into the outer corner and gave it a little bit more of a blended look. I did apply Dungeon and like a couple of, I think it was Dungeon I only worked with for underneath my eye to create that nice shape and also give me like a little bit of extra down there. And then on my outer corner, I do believe I went in with Choking on Ice as well. Then, of course, after applying the lash, the look is complete. It actually came out really nice. The thing is, you guys, is I don't think I'm bad at makeup, but there's so many super talented people out there that when I do these videos, I feel very self-conscious about doing makeup looks because I know that there are people out there who are far more talented than I am. So I kind of feel like I feel really like insecure on here when I do, you know, these looks and stuff. But I've been pleasantly surprised through this process that they had actually been coming out pretty good, and I feel really good about it. So let's move on to these next two looks. Now, before we get into these looks, I did want to mention when it came to Blood Queen, it freaking stained my eyelid. It was on there good. And it's not like it was hard to remove the makeup itself. It's just, it was stained. It is there and it wasn't going anywhere. And I'm wondering if I did take some oil, like an oil-based makeup remover, if it would have came out easier, like the actual stain itself. But I didn't test it because I didn't want to have that oil on there and affecting my look. I didn't want it to affect the eyeshadow when I went to go apply it. Alright, so let's get on to this next look. It used the absolute most colors. I ended up making like this little graph on my phone to kind of show me what colors I was going to be using for each look because I wanted to set a little game plan to myself. This one kind of ended up creating the look as I went, but I did know what colors I wanted to incorporate. And I think having those colors set in my mind ended up making it look way better than I thought it was going to. So, the color I started out with, and I just went in, was Royal Pain. Royal Pain is such a beautiful color. If you're the type of person who likes, you know, those really laid back colors, you know, you don't want like, a very like crazy pop out color. You're more of the nudes type of person. I don't know why I said that was such a weird sound. Royal Pain you will absolutely love. When Jeffree comes out with his individuals where you can buy the colors separately, that one is one of those ones I could see a lot of people buying and putting in like their everyday like collection, and it is beautiful. Like, it just went bam. I ended up using a synthetic brush instead of the natural hair brush just to see how things turned out. And after that, I went in with High King. Now, I went a little crazy, I think, with Royal Pain, but then I added High King in there to kind of create some depth in there. And I put that on the outer corner of my eye, and then I kind of tried to blend it out a little bit, but also I wanted to see how dark I could make it get. Like, how much depth could I create with this color? And it's something that I really don't think I was able to accomplish on its own. It's a really nice color, but the way that I was using it, I needed something else with it to create that depth. And I end up adding this at the end. I don't know if you see it or not, but yeah, I end up adding it at the end and you get to see where the depth comes in. All right, so then I start working that, and as I'm looking at it, I'm noticing I want to go somewhere else with it instead of like just keeping it on the outer corner. I end up, of course, bringing it under my eye, and then I apply some to the inner corner of my eye, and I'm going to create kind of like that halo spotlight kind of effect on the eye. And this wasn't planned, but it happened. And that's what ended up happening with this look. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself, like, what other colors do I want to incorporate here? Where do I want to go with this? The next color I ended up popping on there is Betrayal. So Betrayal, I ended up putting basically very close to the center of my eyelid, but not all the way. I made it to where it kind of created a blend between High King and the next color I would be adding. So I put it on both sides to almost the middle part of my eyelid. But I made sure I left some empty space there because I'm going to be applying another color. And then I also did apply it the same way at the bottom. Now the next color I did, and that was basically the main piece that would be in the center that you would all see, that would kind of bring it forward the most, Beauty Sleep on there. And that color, when I looked at it in the pan, I'm like, ew. Like, who wants this color? I feel like I've seen this color in cheap palettes before. But when you put that booger on, it looks beautiful. It is stunning. I love it so much. It came out way prettier than I thought it would. I think that in the pan, it does not show off how amazing it is. And that one is actually so very pretty. And I put that one on the center of the eyelid, and then I also applied it underneath my eye, but right there in the little center to create that effect that I wanted. And then I also got Wet Jewel, and then I tried to apply it like a tear almost effect on the bottom of my eye. And it was giving me a hard time. Like, it wasn't moving the way I wanted it to. It would honestly have to be very wet in order for me to get what I wanted from Wet Jewel. Like, to be able to control it the way that I wanted to. When it came to applying that color, like with your finger and stuff, it wasn't a big deal. I tried this palette before I filmed this video, and I did a look, and I used that, and it had no problem. But I'm also going to be giving you guys a couple of live swatches here, so that way you can kind of get a little bit of an idea, and I can look at it and let you guys know what I think about it, because there's another one that I'm iffy about that I won't know until I actually swatch it, because I was having a big issue with a different color, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, you guys, there's that look, and it came out actually really nice. I feel like on camera, you don't see it as good as it looks in person. And then I even took some pictures on my phone, and it actually looked good. And it's one of those ones, like, you move your head, and then, like, you can just see, like, the depth of the look. It looks so good. And then to give it that extra oomph, I added Dungeon into the outer corner of my eye in the V, like ever so slightly. I just patted a little bit in there. I didn't do too much. That's the great thing about Dungeon when it comes to this palette. To make these colors be able to shift and change into just about any kind of crazy purple you want, Dungeon is going to be that color to make it darker or kind of change its tone ever so slightly. Like, it is a perfect color. So that one and Blood Queen are just enough of that purple that you need to create all these crazy purple looks, because they blend out into really nice purples as well. Now, this one's probably my lazy look, but it's because I was trying to figure out what to do with these colors, because I really feel like these colors didn't really have that many friends in the palette, you know what I mean? And basically, like, I don't feel like that they had the friends to where they can be like, oh, we look good together, you know? So I had to figure something out. When it comes to Executioner, that color, of course, has got a lot of friends in the palette, but I feel like Bleeding Heart didn't have friends in the palette. So this is what I ended up doing. 2 colors for this, just 2. And that is Bleeding Heart and Executioner. And I know it might seem a little lazy, but hey, I created a look, you know, like, not like a hardcore look. I just made it work, okay? So anyways, what I did is I went in with Executioner, and I kind of created that nice cut in the eyeliner look that I wanted. And then from there, I ended up just patting on Bleeding Heart, and it didn't give me any issues. I did go in with a brush here and there just to get into, like, the little crack and cranny that I wanted to. I put Bleeding Heart all over my eyeball for the most part, and I just patted it on, and then I try to blend it up near my inner corner ever so slightly with a brush, because I also wanted to see how it acted with a brush and how it kind of blended, and it blends out. Like it vanishes. It doesn't really become like a different tone or anything. And it's not a bad thing. Like, it's a really pretty color and it's extremely red. I think that it's also a really good color to have a different tone of red underneath, and you pop that bugger on top, just to give it that like nice little extra sheen or look to like a darker red. And then after that, I went back in with Executioner, and then I created just like a giant kind of like cat eye look. And it actually came out really nice. I thought it was going to come out crappy because the black was giving me ever so slightly a hard time, but then I made it work. I think that my biggest issue was that I did not give myself a transition color. And that's why I kind of had a little bit of a hard time, but for the most part, everything worked out and it came out really nice. Executioner is another really good color. It has many friends in this palette, but when it comes to Bleeding Heart, I feel like that one doesn't have that many friends. And then there's like a couple of other ones in here that I feel that way about, like Sworn Enemy. We're going to get into that now. All right, you guys. So I saved the last one to be my entire look, and it's the look you see on me right now. Oh my gosh. This one gave me the absolute hardest time. Like, I am not kidding you guys. I was so stressed out about this, and I maybe it was my fault. I think it was my fault. But for the most part, when it came to this, Vile Serpent was the color that I did not... I'm sorry I'm moving around so much, but I feel like I'm really talking here. Vile Serpent was the one that is so beautiful. I love the way that it looks. It's a really pretty green, but I don't know. I'm iffy about it being in this palette, but I'm not mad at it. It's freaking sick, you know? It reminds me of Peacock from Lime Crime, their liquid lip that I love so very much, and I think they just recently brought it back. I know Jeffree doesn't like Lime Crime, but I have to compare it to something. And when I saw it, it said to me before I used it, I might be patchy. But I was wrong. I really thought it was going to be patchy. Now keep in mind, my base for my eyeshadow is Jeffree Star's concealer. And before that, it was Tarte Shape Tape. But now I'm using Jeffree's concealer, and I really like it. And it's been doing really good as a base for my stuff. I don't get any creasing, nothing. And what I ended up doing is I did the two eyes differently. I applied Vile Serpent first, and I applied it onto my lid. And then I was going to work it up a little bit, but I also wanted to go in with, was it Monarchy? Or Monarchy? I don't know. And I should know this because I'm really big into royals, like, you know, crazy royals back in the day. I think it's Monarchy. Yeah. Whatever. So, on the other eye, I ended up doing Monarchy first, and I tried to, like, blow it out a bit from the crease up towards the brow bone and did that first. And then I went in with Vile Serpent, patted it on with a little fluffy brush on my outer corner and worked it into the crease and kind of worked it up a little bit. And then I patted it on with a flat brush onto my lid. Because then when I went in with Monarchy on my other side, where I did Vile Serpent first, it was creating like a weird greenish dirty tone on my edge when I tried to blend it. And I don't know, it just wasn't really working out. I was having a little bit of a hard time with blending Vile Serpent out. It took a lot more work to kind of blend it out than any of the other colors I have in this palette. It's not a bad color. It didn't come out patchy. It's just, that's where the artistry comes in here, you guys. That's where calling this an artistry palette pops in. And it's for Vile Serpent alone. Because everything else in this palette is so easy to work with. Executioner may be a little, you know, because it's a black color, it's a little bit harder to work with. But everything in here is awesome. It's Vile Serpent just gave me a little bit of a hard time. When it comes to Monarchy, That color is beautiful and it comes on so pretty and I love it so much. That's like another one of those pretty nudes you can like keep for your everyday stuff. I love that. That one's so freaking nice. And then I decided I was going to do something that I thought would be cute, but it actually kind of came out crusty looking. I don't know. I don't know what happened here, you guys. It was all good. We were having a good time. I was putting on the makeup. It was going on easy, and then boom, caca. So I tried to use Jeffree Star's concealer to make a winged liner. And the reason why I was doing that is because I wanted to use it as like a tacky base for Sworn Enemy. Because I wanted the Sworn Enemy to be my liner. And that didn't work. Ended up looking crappy and it just wasn't setting on there. I don't know what I was expecting from it, but it didn't work. So what I ended up doing is I went in with a black eyeliner and then I patted Sworn Enemy on to that. And it actually showed up and it came out better. So the look that you see on me now is that look. And it gave me the hardest time. But I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this one because I think maybe it was just the way I applied it. That could have been the reason why it just wasn't working. But that's why I want to do some quick live swatches and give you guys my opinion on what I think might have been going wrong. Let's just say there's a dent in Sworn Enemy. Like I tried to get in there and it just was not applying the way that I wanted it to. The black liner gave it an extra oomph and you can actually see it. But I'm iffy about that color and we're going to do some quick swatches on my hand just to see if maybe I'm wrong about it. We'll see. The color we're going to be going into, I'm putting it on my finger as you can see, is Sworn Enemy. And I just really did a very quick, crappy swatch. And this color is like very sheer. It's not like it's ugly or anything, you know. It's a pretty color, but I just don't feel like it's what I want. Like from this color. Like when you see it in there, it looks like pretty hardcore, but it's very sheer. I think it's just one of those little touches of color that can maybe add like a shift to something, but it's not powerful on its own. So that one was like blah. And let me go into Wet Jewel. I think Wet Jewel is a favorite here. And I think even my boyfriend said he loved that one. So it, like as a swatch, goes on really good. And it applies way, way stronger. I don't know if you guys can see that, but just a swatch and it's so very pretty. And I don't know if you can see it. I'm sorry, you guys. The swatch is pretty and you can actually see it. And then it's like super like metally looking on my finger. So if you do tap it on, you get way more pigment and stuff. And on top of the pink pops out more. But Wet Jewel's nice. Pink Magic is amazing. It applied really nicely from what I could see. Like, it seems like the formula is the same for Sworn Enemy, Wet Jewel, and Pink Magic. But Sworn Enemy just does not give you what you're looking for in that color, in my opinion. You guys might feel differently. But I think my least favorite thing in this palette is going to be Sworn Enemy. Your Majesty is a white. It's just a white, but you can use that white to lighten up other colors and also use it as a really good transition color. But Sworn Enemy is like bad. Vile Serpent, not bad. It's like you just need to work with it, but Sworn Enemy, don't like it. It's not my thing. I think out of this whole palette, that one's probably the one I don't like. And if I could replace it with anything, because this is something that I really think Jeffree should have considered, is he has his Alien palette, and I heard that the Alien palette is discontinued. I heard that from Annette's Makeup Corner, because I ended up watching her video to like see what her opinion was, because I remember when she did the Conspiracy palette, we had different opinions. But you guys aren't going to know that because I never posted that video, and I actually filmed it twice. It's just, it was so late and I feel like no one cared, so why post it? We had different opinions on that one, and there was some colors that worked for her and some colors that worked for her didn't work for me. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But I ended up finding out from her that the Alien palette's discontinued. I didn't know that. And Area 51, I believe that's the color that it's called. It's the really boom purple. I guess it is the purple. It's the reason why I bought that palette. Because as soon as I saw that purple, I'm like, I don't care about anything else. I want that purple. And I think that would have been a really nice addition to this palette because of it being the purple like palette. Blood Lust, the purple palette. I think that one would have been perfect to toss in there. Maybe change the name and just let everyone know that it's because that one's discontinued, blah, blah, blah. And I think everyone would have loved it. I think that's the purple people wanted, that they feel that they were missing was that purple. But let's get into the highlighter really quick because we're running out of time here and I know this video is already super long. So something you should know and keep in mind when it comes to his highlighters, he has the Extreme Frost, and then I think he has like another version of these, and I don't like them. I only have 2 that I received from his mystery boxes, and I can't stand them. But the Extreme Frost, I never got to try the other ones, and then I got to try this one. And I actually I saw this, and I'm like, I have to have it. There's no way that I'm not going to have this. I was so stressed. I was running my laptop, I was running my new computer build, and my cell phone at the same time to try to get this because I was so scared that this was going to sell out because it was exclusive to Jeffree's website. And purple, when it comes to purple highlighter, it's like my freaking shiznit. Like, I love it. And then this is me wearing it right now. Hopefully you can see it. I did use this to like add a little pop to my looks. I think I even used it in one of the other ones, and I just like press it in the middle a little bit just to give it a little extra like pow. And it's really pretty. It's just in person when you look at it, you can see like glitter, but then on camera you're like, oh dang, you look good. You know, look at that highlight. But it's like in person, it doesn't totally look the same. And then it's like it's gone, and then you move, and then it appears. And I think that's pretty interesting. Now, I'm going to show you the purple highlighter that I love a lot. Oh, crap, I got it all over my hand. This one is from Lime Crime, and it is Celestial. This one is awesome. I hit pan, of course, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Hopefully, I'll do like a close-up for you. Ooh, it's so pretty. I love this color. And I'll show you the picture right here just so you can see it up close. And then I'll give you a nice swatch of Jeffree's. And oh my gosh, they could be best friends, even though I know I don't like them. They look so pretty. So I think that my thing is I'm going to be using these two together, and it'll give me the look that I want. So you get this really nice, like, freaking glass looking awesomeness here, but then like without that little extra, I still have that like little purple tone going, and I think that that's what Celestial will do for me. I'm not saying that this is bad on its own, but I feel like for me personally and what I like, I need more to it. Not so much that it's not giving me enough highlight. I don't want it just to be that glitter, because it's kind of, that's the best way I can explain it, is it's like a glitter. And I think that these two together will give me the look that I want. But it does look really good. It's something that I could see popping on my body and stuff in certain spots and be like, yeah, check it out. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. But I don't know. I love it. I do. But it's like I'm iffy because of the whole glittery thing in person and how it looks. But on camera and in pictures, freaking beautiful. Like maybe it's just a photo shoot thing, which is perfect because it's expensive for one. And then it's got this sick packaging. So imagine showing up, being the artist for a photo shoot and be like, oh, give you my best stuff. Take it out of my container and apply it to your face or parts of your body. But that sounds bad. Good thing I'm not monetized, I guess. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. I know I talked a lot, but there was so much information I wanted to share with you guys, and I was very excited to be sharing this with you because it's freaking awesome. Like, I love his packaging, and his makeup is just so good. And I don't really go out of my way to buy everyone else's makeup. It's gotten to the point where I'm almost only ever really getting, when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, Jeffree stuff. And maybe that changes your guys' opinion about how I do these reviews, but if something sucks, I'm going to let you know. And when it comes to this palette, it's freaking amazing. And the only thing that I feel sucks is the Sworn Enemy one. Sworn Enemy is the worst thing in this palette, and other than that, it's an amazing palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will have more makeup videos coming up. On this channel, I basically just do whatever, like, my hobbies are and what makes me happy and what I think you guys would like to see. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you guys think about the palette. If you did already purchase it, did this video change your mind and make you think, oh, I should pick up this palette? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. I'll try to get my hands on some other stuff and do some more reviews because this is fun, and I had a blast doing it. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.